Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GTHub podcast. I am, once again, Forza R18. Joining me again for this week is Penta
Hello.
and Rob.
Guten Abend.
And before we go any further, there was a request on the last podcast that I think you need to do, Penta.
Do I have to do that now?
You can save it on for later. I'm just reminding you now.
Thanks for reminding me of that embarrassment.
I feel you owe it to said person.
Sarah.
Yes, Sarah. Anyway, first story for today is the season finale of the Blancpain GT Endurance Cup at Barcelona. And did any of you see it?
I've seen all of it, except the training or something like that. I missed one session, but nothing important.
Well, the training is just practice, so...
Oh, sorry.
Go on.
I was going to say, I saw about 5 laps. The first 5 laps.
Well, at least they were eventful.
Yes, which does beg the question, what exactly did happen at the start? Because I saw one of the Straka McLarens and one of the Row Racing BMWs in the gravel at the final turn before the race had even actually started.
They got together on the... Well, actually, no, I think that was at the end of the first lap. It wasn't at the start of the race.
Let me check. I actually don't know.
It wasn't at
I'm
the
prepared.
direct start. It was at the end of the first lap where they got together at the final turn, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the first lap because otherwise the start would have been.
Yeah, because the start would have been waved off if they had gotten into each other on the start. But it was the first lap where it was the... I don't know the number, the McLaren. It was a Straka McLaren.
59.
Was it a 59? Okay, it was that one.
Yes.
And the Roa BMW. And they got beached in the gravel. And they stayed there for about 3 or 4 laps before being recovered, which in itself was a joke.
Yes. But that wasn't the biggest joke of recovery at this race.
Was it the first time recovery would be funny though? that said truck that got stuck in the gravel got stuck later on.
Yeah, for about 10 minutes. 10 laps.
Yes, 10 laps, which is probably about 10 minutes or so, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more. So yeah, the 82 car got basically beached for 10 laps, which was laughable.
Oh, dearie me.
Yes, the recovery truck that was supposed to be 4-wheel drive ended up being buried in the gravel. So you had to recover the recovery vehicle that was recovering the cars.
Twice or 3 times actually.
Was it a third
It was
time?
stuck.
Oh dear.
It was stuck too many times.
Yes,
Oh,
that's for sure.
Deary me. And
But I think we should jump in the qualifying session because that's where the biggest drama happened. Well, one of the bigger dramas.
was it to do with one of the Bentleys by any chance?
Yes, that is correct. With the number 7 Bentley?
Yes, the one that wasn't in championship contention.
The
Correct.
Guy Smith, Stephen Kane and Ollie Jarvis driven car.
That had an unfortunate meeting with the wall. And Q2, I think?
I think it was actually on the front straight where it collided.
Yeah, but in the second qualifying, right?
I think it was actually Q1.
That is possible. I'm not sure, but yeah,
Yeah, I think it was Q1 actually, because the track was wet and it was drying. The 7 was out on slicks on a wet or a damp track, and it just lost it coming out of the final corner and went headfirst into the pit straight wall.
Correct. It was behind the number 8, which got on the curbs, unsettled a little bit, but caught the car and continued. And the number 7 had no luck and went pretty heavily into the wall, and it didn't look good for them.
No, it was a busy recovery period for them, and they had a long night ahead of them to repair it. But the car went back out for the race, so 2 Bentleys are on the grid.
And it made up some good positions. I think it made up like 13 positions, something like that. I'm not 100%
It was on a recovery
sure.
drive for sure, yeah. I'm not quite sure where it ended up finishing in the end.
Was it 20? Something like that. It made up a lot of ground for the starting position.
Yes, that it did.
And it started in the pits with the number 888 Ferrari. For whatever reason that Ferrari was in the pits, I have no idea.
I wasn't aware there was another car starting from the pits other than the Bentley, so that's news to me.
I've just seen it because I'm watching. I have the race open in the background.
Oh,
Because
handy.
that's how prepared I am.
Oh, sorry about that.
Well, you can just fast forward through the bits where we are talking about, so you can tell us what happened.
Basically, yeah. So that was that for qualifying. Nothing major happened other than cars going into the gravel. Lots of cars going into the gravel, actually.
And another thing I think I saw as well was that Emil Frey Racing were actually running one of their Lexus GT3 cars.
No,
as
that
well.
was the last time out. They
Yeah, that
for
was
this weekend
never
they
great.
went to their Jags again.
Ah, right, I see. Cool, cheers for that.
Yeah,
I think Rob was correct.
No,
Sorry to
the
interrupt
Jags
you.
were both being run. The number 14 and the 114 were running as Jags this weekend.
I mean, with the crash in the formation lap. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
it was in
was
the
it?
formation
Okay.
lap because it was in the last turn.
Ah, okay, that explains the timing then. All right.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I needed to clarify that anyway because I wasn't really sure.
Yeah. No, it was both Jaguars this time around. Maybe for the last time.
I hope not. I do love those things. They're
It would
not
be a
very
shame-
competitive, but they're really cool to look at.
They were running good throughout the race until the end. They had some mishaps, I guess. But it
As
would
is
be
the
sad
way
to
with
see
that
them
program.
go. Yeah. Basically like McLaren. Always screwing it up.
McLaren has a fast car that just tires are screwing them up, apparently. Or so I've heard.
Yeah. But they were, I don't know, were they that competitive last season?
They won the title last year.
Yes, and that was, I believe, despite the fact that Shane Van Gisbergen was actually literally on the other side of the world. He still
Yes,
won the
that's
title.
right. I had forgotten about that. He
So
had
he
won
was
the
in-
endurance title last year because he was a McLaren
Yes.
factory driver.
While he was actually in Australia at the, I think it was the Sandown 500 V8 Supercars round.
Well remembered. I think that's
Oh.
correct.
How have I just remembered that? Good grief.
Nobody knows, but you remembered it anyway.
I don't even know how I remembered it, to be honest. But,
Yeah, the McLarens were on pace last year because this year they had different tire compound, different Pirelli compound, which seems to be suiting mid-engine cars other than McLaren for some weird reason. I don't know how that works.
Is it only compound or size 2?
I don't think the tire size changed. I think it was just the compound. For whatever reason, the Lamborghinis and the Audis have seemed to be suited to the new compound that Pirelli has out. But the McLarens are struggling to get tire temperature into them for some reason, which is causing them to not have any
Alright.
pace.
I seem to remember that Lamborghini has gotten different size front tires, which made them be so competitive this year and not be choked by them. But that was at the start of the season, and I can't really remember now.
What if they have different sized tires? That's down to the car homologation, and not down to the Pirellis that they use. Because I don't think they changed tire size so much as they changed probably the diameter of their wheels, the size of the wheels that they run, which would give it.
That is also possible.
Yeah, which would be a difference. But the Lamborghinis and the Audis had problems with tire punctures, which is something else this year that they didn't have last year that no other car seems to have. And this is on various tires in various series, because the GT3 cars that are running in IMSA on Continentals have had the same problem. So that's something else that's a bit odd.
I know that the Lamborghinis had puncture problems at Zandvoort and GT Masters. I remember that. They had numerous tire punctures out of nowhere and tire problems. I don't know what compound they run in GT Masters though.
They run Pirellis, so they would be running all the same thing, I think.
Very odd.
Yes, very odd indeed. But moving back to the race.
Yes, there was contact in the first lap with the number 19, and I don't know who it was who he got struck by, but the number 19 got a pretty big hit in the rear left on the first lap.
Yes, who was that car? That's a good question. I can't remember who that was. You have the video up. Show us who it is.
It's sadly. Give me 1 second. Who it shows? It shows one of the Ferraris. I can't see which number that is, but it had a run-in with the Ferraris at the downhill left turn, where the big marking is on the track.
Oh, that might have been the either the Kaspersky Ferrari or the SMP Ferrari. I think it ran into, or ran into it actually.
Yeah, it's blue, white, and red.
Oh, so it's the SMP Ferrari then.
It seems so, correct.
Because it's in Russian colors, so that's why. Yeah, I forgot about that incident.
Sense.
There was also later on that the GTRs ran straight at the chicane there, went completely straight and straight lined everything.
It was an odd race. There was very much of off-track driving. It seems like the car struggled in certain turns to stay on track with grip at their normal speeds, I guess.
I think they were struggling with tire temperature because it wasn't exactly a warm day when they were racing.
Well, that too, yeah.
Because there's no tire warmers in Blancpain GT, as far as I remember. Or is there?
I think there is.
Is there? Okay. I'm not going to say that's true or not, because I have no idea. I think I might be thinking of Creventic. Never mind. I think there might be in Blancpain GT.
I think they have tire ovens in Blancpain GT. I've recalled have seen a video about it.
Oh, yes, that's right. They do. Yeah, you're right. They do have tire ovens. They don't have tire warmers. They have tire ovens, which isn't exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Same effect. Moving to the middle of the race, there was where the drama actually happened, which was the number 8 Bentley of Andy Suchek. I'm blanking on the other two.
Vincent Abril and
yes.
Maxime Soulet.
Correct.
Yes, correct. They were the title contenders for the GT Endurance Cup. And they had gotten into contact with apparently from what Bentley had said, was a gearbox problem that took them out of the race, that put them into the garage. So they had to repair that. And then we had the pictures of one Andy Suchek crying. Very sad pictures.
Very sad indeed. Always sad to see somebody crying, especially like that, because they were running, very good against the Lamborghini. It was, although I'm happy that the Lamborghini won, it was still for me sad to see to end like that, because a competition is always nice until the end.
Yeah, they were on the pace, and they were catching the Lamborghinis before that incident happened. It's put out the Bentley. I think it was fixed and came back out later on. But it had lost so much ground, it was effectively out of the title hunt at the end.
Yeah, sadly. Kind of. Not really. No, it wasn't a nice,
Mixed
moment
much,
for...
is there?
Yeah. Oh, I'm currently watching the replay and I'm seeing the part where the recovery vehicle got stuck in the gravel with the 82 behind it, which caused a full cause yellow.
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
So rejectful.
The Nissan Navara there getting stuck. Clearly it was not the four-wheel drive version.
Had the race been held at Navarra, on the other hand?
Hey! Well done. I'll give you an A for effort on that one.
Thank you. One of the greatest achievements of my life.
Yes, it was.
Applause.
Applause, yes.
Thank you.
A golf applause, yes.
It's just a light crattle of applause like you get in your average golf tournament. Is that even a thing, by the way? Hold on.
Oh dear. He's doing something, but we'll move on from that. I don't really remember much in the middle of the race, other than that.
So, I can confirm it was the number 72 488 Ferrari that crashed into the number 19 pretty heavily.
Yeah, it took out the 72 Ferrari on the spot, I think.
It seems so, yes. There were lots of contact and spins in the first lap with 49 cars on the track. Or even 50.
It was 48, I think.
48?
Yes.
Sorry.
So, also I stand corrected, a light smattering of applause.
Yeah, okay, fine. However you want to describe your applause.
Only in Britain would we have so many different ways of describing applause, in the same way that, as Josh has previously mentioned,
Yes. Rain.
And that's all I am going to mention on that.
Yes, that's all you're going to get away with before I mute you.
Yes. To spare Forza from the pain of having to have those flashbacks from a few weeks back.
Gladly you cut off there, but moving on. I feel like we're spending way too much time waffling between the races here.
Yes. Not much to talk about this week. We forgot everything.
Yes, there was actually some news coming out.
Well, hang on.
We're not done. We're not done
with the
here.
race. We haven't even said who won the race or the titles yet.
Yes,
oh, really?
But
oh wow.
No. Thanks for listening.
Are you even here, Rob?
I think so. I'm looking at my computer screen.
Anyway.
He's just saying random words that fit. But what I wanted to say, there was a time in the championship competition where it really seemed like the number 63 Lamborghini totally blew it. It was after the first hour when the first pit stop were made, because they ran in 22nd position for a while, which for somebody that's competing for the championship is not good.
Yes,
but
not good would be the understatement there.
I was sad for a while, but if Christian Engelhardt was running in that? No, that was the first driver change, so it was Caldarelli, I think.
I think Caldarelli started the car, and then it was Engelhart who was doing the middle stint, I believe.
But they came in early and basically saved that and got up to third position somehow, which put him right back in the competition with the Bentley, and it was a fight from there.
Game on from that point on until the Bentley
Exactly.
was out. The Nissans were dreadful again in the final year of the old car. Just saying. I don't know. I don't really like Barcelona as a GT track myself. I just think it's too meh.
And I think this race proved it pretty much.
It's the layout, I think. I don't think all the chicanes just kind of ruin the flow of the circuit. Meaning, but because they all use the weird chicane for the F1 part, but I don't know why they don't just use the other half of the corner, because then it wouldn't make all that stop and go traffic. But whatever, that's just me going off on a different point.
The cars seem going. It looks like they were crawling at points on the track, which it just seems weird, but that's the track layout. It's not suitable for GT3, I agree.
Well, with a few tweaks, I'm sure it would work, but I don't know.
Not in its current state.
No, sadly not. But I actually don't remember who won, because it wasn't the 63, was it?
No, it was. Well, no, they came in third.
Because they were third, they were second or third, but they didn't.
Oh,
win.
I think I know who won.
Oh, do you? Please enlighten us.
I shall provide enlightenment and announce it was Danny Juncadea, Felix Sorales, and Tristan Vautier in the Acura SP
number
car.
88.
Oh, okay, yeah, the Acura SP car won. Okay. Oh, yes, that's right. They had their first win for a whole year. That's right.
Yes.
With the number 17 coming in second place.
Yep, I'm just getting...
So the 63 was third then?
Correct. Still enough to put it in first place in a championship.
Well, in fairness, they could have finished off the podium and they still would have won the title.
Well, that is correct, yes. But
speaking
more
of
points
the titles,
is more better.
Yes, speaking of the titles, we have atop the overall Blancpain GT Series standings is the Mirko Bortolotti, Christian Engelhart, who win the overall Blancpain GT Series title. The second place drivers were Maxi Buch, Frank Pereira. The lone third driver was Vincent Abril. Fourth was Robin Frins, Stuart Leonard. Fifth was Andrea Caldarelli. Sixth was Marcus Finkelhock. Seventh, Maxime Soulet, Andy Suchek. Eighth was Will Stevens. Ninth, Jimmy Eriksson. 10th, Marcel Fassler and Dries Van Thor. Yeah, so the driver pairings overall were different compared to the individual classes of the series, which were endurance and sprint.
I forgot who won sprint actually last week.
It was Robin Frines and Stuart Leonard.
No, correct.
For the WRT Audi.
Yes, that's right. So oddly enough, we had different manufacturers winning the different classes.
Refreshing to see.
Although, I believe Lamborghini won the overall team's title.
Wasn't that Bentley?
Was it Bentley?
I think so. The number 63 won the overall championship, the endurance championship. No, and team. Yeah, you're right, sorry. I stand corrected.
Actually, They won it by a point, Bentley did. According to the
Bentley did?
According to the chart. It was 88 Bentley Team M Sport over 87 points with the GRT Grasser Racing Team. So Bentley won the Endurance Cup.
Oh, so it was changed later on because at first they said GRT won 3 titles.
I suppose it. I guess, I don't know. I'm just telling
Very
you what it says on the points title. Yay, confusing.
No.
But the one that overall mattered was the overall title, and that went to the Grasser Racing Team and to the drivers of Andrea Caldarelli and Marco Bottolotti and
Christian Engelhardt.
Christian Engelhardt, yes.
Yes.
Even though I'm a fan, I have to say, well-deserved win of the season.
Well deserved for all those involved. And speaking of GT news, we had huge news break last week that we weren't able to report on here. And I can happily say we actually got something right for once.
Yay! We're complete chumps.
Yes, we are.
It actually made quite a nice change for me to be part of something which involved a correct prediction, given that most of my predictions are usually fairly.
No, you weren't involved in this prediction yet, so you don't get
I still
to share
take
our
it.
glory.
No, yeah. Just innocent bystander. I take it.
But that news was that Cadillac, after 15 years of Pirelli World Challenge racing, will be taking a hiatus? I don't know. I don't want to say they're gone for good, but maybe they are. Who knows? They're always wait and see with Pirelli World Challenge programs. But their program in that series is going to be drawn to a close at the end of this year, and it technically already has. And the ATS-VRs are no more, so that frees up the GT3 slot in GM's lineup to be filled by Callaway Corvettes. Or Callaway Competition, actually.
Yes, the Corvette that's actually built in Germany.
Yes, funny how that is. The German Corvettes, as I like to call them.
Yes.
The better ones.
Yes. In a conversation with Daily Sports Car last year, Callaway Competitions' Ernst Ver explained that when I got the signature, and I quote here, when I got the signature from General Motors to say that I could homologate it with the FIA, we had to sign that we wouldn't run it in North America. They don't want competition with Cadillac and their future programs. The plan was to build it in the USA and run it in Pirelli World Challenge. If we ever go to America, it's because they've retired the Cadillac. We would build a lot more cars and build them here and in the US. End quote.
Yes, I found that bit interesting because I didn't know that was part of the plan until that interview was resurfaced after the Cadillac news had broken. So that's pretty interesting. I wonder where they end up building that. Well, I suppose actually they would end up building it at Callaway, the Callaway shops here in the States anyway.
Yeah.
So it just answered my own question.
It's a nice looking car. It's been on the pace in ADAC GT Masters last couple of years. It actually carried young Mr. Jules Gounon to the title this year.
Yes, Mr. Jules Gounon, who is now racing, who will be in a couple of weeks' time racing an Acura for real-time racing in the California 8 Hours.
Yes, and speaking of the California 8 Hours, I've actually got the provisional entry list up on my screen.
Ooh, exciting stuff.
Ooh, yes. Exciting, yes.
TRG are running a pair of GT4 Aston Martins. GMG are running a Porsche Cayman. And yes, they are. They're also running another car for young Alicadel, who will be alongside Wolf Hensler.
Well, not a good lineup there at all then, no.
Oh, no, of course not.
No.
RJN Motorsport have a couple of entries on the list.
Wait, RJN are coming to the States? That's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, that's quite the news.
Yeah, because it's the Nissan program for the Intercontinental
Well,
GT
they have
Challenge.
cars. Annoyingly, Nissan Motorsport has cars here that run, but they aren't funded by Nissan Motorsport US.
No.
They seem to have a love-hate relationship with the GTR programs. I don't understand why, but that's for a different time.
Yeah.
Nissan is a weird thing in general.
Yeah. A couple of other notable entries include
Well,
K-Pax.
hey, hang on. Go back to the Nissan cars. Who's in those cars?
All 6 people going by the name of TBC.
Oh, never mind.
Yes.
So
yeah,
TBA's cousin is getting a drive. That's good.
Yeah.
Nice to see.
Yeah. Yeah, very nice to see that. Very well deserved after a very promising year from the youngster.
He must be really tired, TBA. He's been racing all season long.
I'll tell you what, he's doing more than double duty this weekend. Bloomin' heck, I'll tell you now.
He finally ran out of cars to be listed on.
Yeah. Yeah, K-Pax have an interesting lineup in their McLaren of Alvaro Parents, Brian Sellers and Ben Barnicoat.
That's not interesting lineup. That is the Pirelli World Challenge lineup in one car.
Yeah, pretty much. Jake Dennis and Stuart Leonard are joining Robin Freins in Audi's flagship WRT programme, with additional support from Land Motorsport with Christopher
Wait, did you
Nice,
just say WRT Audi has a program?
Yeah, Team WRT are going to be at Laguna Seca.
That just seals it then. I need to go definitely now.
Yeah. Land
Motorsport.
Yep,
Motorsport
Land,
support?
Yep, with Connor De Filippi, Chris Mees and Chris Haase. The first of the Acuras is Ryan Eversley, Tom Dyer and Dane Cameron.
Oh yes, one Dane Cameron's with them again, getting a jump start on his Acura drive.
Yes, and Magnus Racing are running a pretty stacked lineup as well of Pierre Caffer, Kelvin van der Linde and Marcus Winkelhock.
I think you'll find that you need to restate their team name there, Rob.
Audi Sport Team Magnus, yes.
Yes, which is important, which means that is Magnus's first run as a actual Audi factory team.
Yep. The second of the Acuras is driven by Peter Cox, Mark Wilkins and Jules Gounon. And a couple of Porsche entries of note as well. First one, Black Swan Racing. Tim Pappas, Jeroen Bleekmolen and David Calvert-Jones.
Yes, very nice
Black
lineup
Falcon
there.
rip-off.
And then there's
Black Swan, they're a program. Sorry to interrupt you.
No worries.
Black Swan are a program that have been running in the ALMS for years here in the States.
GTD until last year.
Pre-merger, and then they went to run in the combined IMSA series before going to Pirelli World Challenge with their Mercedes.
Yeah.
So they have like a mixed program between Mercedes and Audi. Or no, not Audi, Porsche, excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's where Bleekmolen runs in usually, right? If I remember
IMSA is his primary program with
Ben Keating.
Ben Keating, yes. And the
/
Mercedes
Trent
AMG GT3s, as well as random cars he races in Europe. He's a busy man.
Oh yes. And the other Porsche of note is the Wright Motorsports car, which is the very definition of a stacked driver lineup. It's only Patrick Long, Jörg Bergmeister and Roman Dumas sharing a car.
Not a Porsche factory entry at all then, is it?
No, it's only 3 Porsche factory drivers, one of whom was racing an LMP1 car last year, and it's the team who Pat Long won the Pirelli World Challenge title for this year.
Yes, Patrick Long, the newly crowned 2017 Pirelli World Challenge Drivers Champion. With that car,
Yes.
with that team.
And another interesting thing is that Mark Cars Australia are bringing a couple of Mazda 3s over for the invitation
Oh, I did not
class.
know that. I finally get to see one of those in person. I'm quite happy about that.
Yes, it's Jake Camilleri and Nicholas Ryle and TBC. And Keith
good old
Kasulki.
TBC.
There he is again.
Yay! And the other car is driven by Keith Kasulka, Morgan Haber, and young Mr. TBC again. And
He's in so many cars.
I know he's busy lad, I'll tell you now. And speaking of entry lists for major North American endurance races, it's Petit Le Mans this weekend, and this means that with it being a 10-hour race, the usual plethora of world-class international talent ends up making its way to America to guest star and help their teams do rather well. And maybe a couple of one-off entries as well. Yes.
The good thing with this... sorry, I'm talking over you again.
No worries.
God. This weekend also is... there's no distractions because all the titles have been won already, basically.
Pretty much. I mean, the PC title was won at
Road
America in August. So, yes, 2 months after the title has been won, the season will, and indeed the class will be coming to a close. All you need to know is that the chances of Patricio O'Ward, James French and Carl Masonna winning are pretty strong indeed. Given that French and O'Ward have won every single round this year, and Masson's won all the rounds he's been in. And the others
yes, the 38 has won every single PC race.
Yes. And the 26 car features Tommy Dreesy, so enough said.
Yes, bar one with Tommy Dreesy in their lineup. That's not surprising. He's always in their lineup.
Yes, the other bar one cars, Don Younts, Ryan Lewis and Danny Burkett. Dreesy's teammates in the 26 are Garrett Grist and that to-be-confirmed chap popping up again.
Oh, nice of him to be in two cars.
Yes. And now we actually get to the interesting stuff.
The proper cars and the proper classes. In
yes,
the prototypes, we have 10 entries.
Yes, we do.
have 10 entries in the prototype class. We have the number 2 Tequila Petroni SM Nissan Onroque DPI, which has Scott Sharp, Ryan DL, and one Brendan Hartley, who seems to be going to IndyCar next year.
Yes.
Yes, the number 5 Mustang Sampling Racing Cadillac has Joao Barbosa, Christian Fittipaldi, Felipe Albuquerque listed as the endurance driver there.
Yes, and that is actually due to change next year, as Albuquerque is going to be a full season driver for Action Express, and Fittipaldi will become the endurance driver for
Daytona.
Daytona.
Just swap the two around,
Sebring.
it's fine.
Yes.
They're interchangeable.
Yeah, I mean, Albuquerque is one of the quickest drivers in sports car racing. I mean, you can literally plug him into anything and watch the car set a awfully quick lap time.
Yes, that's an understatement.
Yes.
But here is the biggest news.
Oh,
I think,
yes.
Of all the teams entered. This is Team Penske and the number 6 Orca 07 with Elio Castroneves, Simon Pagino, and some guy named Juan Pablo Montoya. What has he ever done?
Let me see. Well,
Never
starting
heard of
off
him.
with Castroneves, Castroneves won Dancing with the Stars.
Ah, yes, that all-important title.
Yes. He's only won 3 Indy 500s as well, let's be honest.
Poor guy, he's slouching.
And's got a podium in Petit Le Mans in the RS Spider Porsche. Simon Pagino, former Le Mans pole sitter. He's got an overall podium, I believe, as well, driving for the factory Acura program back in the day, and is last year's IndyCar champion. And Juan Pablo Montoya, 2-time Indy 500 winner, multiple Formula 1 race winner, few wins in NASCAR Sprint Cup for good measure.
That man's just not trying, yeah.
Yeah.
Castroneves actually also won Petit Le Mans, I believe, as well. Not just a podium, I think he won it.
Alright, hold on, I'm just going to quickly double check.
This race will be held at Road Atlanta, right?
Yes.
Yes, it will.
This
Road
coming
Atlanta
Saturday.
in Brazelton. Yes, Brazelton, Georgia.
I must watch them.
Yes.
One of my most favorite tracks in America is Road Atlanta.
You are correct, Forza, in the
Thank
sense
you.
that it's an
I'll take a
overall
bow.
4th place in class and a class win in 2008.
Yes, with the Porsche RS Spider, who I think
Yeah.
his co-drivers were Patrick Long and Romain Dumas, I think.
I am having a quick look. Oh no, it was just him and Briscoe.
Oh, okay. Well, who was the third driver?
Who's the third driver? There was
Was
no
it just-
third driver.
Oh, that's a strong drive then, with just the two of them.
Yeah.
That's pretty good then.
And actually, Penske locked out the podium that year. Timo Bernard and Roman Dumas second. Third place, Manu Collard, Sasha Masson and Patrick Long.
Oh, there you go. So you had the wrong drivers in the wrong cars,
Yeah.
but fair enough.
And then, in 4th
Ah.
place in the LMP2 class was another RS Spider, but actually run by Dyson Racing for Butch Leitzinger, Andy Lally and Marino Franchitti.
Not a strong lineup there at all. But moving
No.
back to the entry list, we have
Yes.
the
10
number
car
10.
of the champions elect, if I may say so.
Yes, the number 10 Wayne Taylor Racing Cadillac of Ricky Taylor, Jordan Taylor, and Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Yes,
And the Taylor
with-
brothers just have to start the race to clinch the 2017 title.
And from memory, Ryan Hunter-Reay's no slouch behind the wheel of a sports car either.
No, he has a couple of podiums at the Rolex 24 at Daytona and 12 Hours of Sebring and at Petit.
Yes, like I said, no slouch. Neither
No.
is are the drivers in the 13. Unlucky for some, I know, but Rebellion are hoping it's not unlucky for Matthias Besch, Gustavo Menezes, and Nick Heidfeld, who is still waiting for his first win in an FIA-sanctioned championship since the
FIA
Very interesting to see
FIA.
him race.
So,
Nick Heidfeld.
Yes, what about Heidfeld?
No, it's interesting to see him in.
Oh, well, he
Well,
consistently runs with Rebellion. He has over the
Wow.
last couple of years.
I never watched, so
last half decade, I think, and possibly even more than that.
He's been with
Goes to
Rebellion
show how much I know.
since he lost his F1 drive.
in
2012, I believe.
Yeah, he's been with them for a fair couple of years.
Yeah.
I think the interesting bit on that entry is the Gustavo Menezes.
Yes.
Yes.
He's actually made a really big name for himself in WEC, and it's not the first time he's raced an IMSA this year, of course, because he did race for Lexus in the GTD class at Daytona.
Very huge step up. Much better car this time.
Oh yeah, he's driving something which should be absolutely bang on the money.
At the
This
front,
weekend.
and it will finish the race. Yes. Not sure
Yes.
about their livery,
And
though.
And of course, Rebellion do have, let's not forget, a very good history at Petit Le Mans.
Yes, they won Petit Le Mans in the past.
Yeah, exactly. So they could be in with a shout for a good result. Moving on to the second of the Tequila Patron sponsored ESM Nissan DPIs, we have in the 22 Johannes van Overbeek, Pipo Derani and Bruno Senna.
Yes, look for them to be the dark horse of this race, because anything that Pipo Derani is in, when in the closing stages of a race, is a dangerous car to be. to be in.
Oh, yes. And there's also the second of the Whelen Engineering Cadillacs as well, the 31 of Dane Cameron, Eric Curran and Mike Conway in what is Dane Cameron's last race for the team before he joins Penske.
Yes, in the first car with said Juan Pablo Montoya in the new Acura ARX-05.
Yes. Moving on to the number 52 Ligier, we have the PR1 Matheson Motorsports entry of Jose Gutierrez, Julien Canal and Olivier Pla. Possibly the weakest driver trio in the class, although having said that, this is all relative because
It
there
is
are
an
some
endurance
pretty-
race. Yes.
It's an endurance race, they're very good drivers, and there are some pretty special driver lineups.
I think
As
you're
well.
overlooking the one key to this entry, though.
Olivier
That is
Pla.
one. Olivier Pla, yes, because he single-handedly was doing the quickest laps last week out, last time out at Laguna Seca. He was putting in the fastest laps on fresh tires. Had there been a caution, he probably would have won the race. He's no slouch in an LMP2 car.
Yes, and I believe he's a former WEC champion as well.
Yes, that's probably true.
Yes, he says as he quickly hits the career button.
As he quickly looks for things.
Let me see. He's second in class at Le Mans in 2013 with Alex Brundle and David Hannemeyer Hansen. And second in the World Endurance Championship LMP2 class as well that same year.
Interesting.
132.5 points, because of course that was the year where the Fuji race was halted after not very many laps.
Yes.
Thanks to the mother of all rainstorms. But quickly moving back to the prototype class, there's the number 85 JDC Miller entry of Steven Simpson, Chris Miller and one Misha Goikberg, who has been, for me, one of the standout drivers in IMSA this season.
Standout drives of all the season, really, yes.
Yes, his performances, especially at Mosport, just the one that springs immediately to mind, were really quite special. And finally, we come to the Visit Florida Racing.
Now, here's the dark horse of the race, actually. Yes.
Ah, yes.
Of Mark Goossens, Renger van de Zande, and the surprise edition of one Mr. Jonathan Balmerino.
Yes, the reason why the Works Mazda driver is in the number 90 is because Rene Rast is a little bit busy this weekend, as he's got the final round of the DTM to deal with, and he's actually still in with a shot of actually winning the title, so hence why he is going to be at Hockenheim.
Boring. He should be here in Georgia. It's a much better race. Much better.
Exactly.
Especially considering this was a team that won the last race out. They should have momentum on their side.
And with one of the best overtakes I have ever seen.
Yes. Take note of that, said Joshua Jones commentary.
Moving on to the GT Le Mans category, and funnily enough, the first car on the entry list is the one that's actually leading the championship, which makes my life an awful lot easier. Yes, it is the number 3 Corvette of Antonio Garcia and Jan Magnussen, who are going to be joined this weekend with Mike Rockenfeller. By Mike Rockenfeller, rather.
Well, he's the
not
endurance
participating
driver.
in DTM.
No.
He hasn't been in DTM for some time, though, hasn't he?
No, he has been doing this season.
He was the one
I
who
didn't know.
Sure.
Yeah, he was. I think he was the guy who got wiped out by Gary Paffett's wildly out of control
right.
Correct.
Mercedes at Norris Ring this year.
Yes, I had forgotten about that accident.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The one
Well,
with-
he's much
yes.
happier in a Corvette.
Yes.
Everybody's much happier away from DTM. That's why
Yes,
you see so many
exactly.
drivers switch to GT racing.
This is true.
Yes, we're going to be coming on to one of those said drivers in a minute, actually, come to think of it. Of course, there is also...
You're correct.
Moving on to the second Corvette is the number 4
Yep.
of Oliver
Ollie
Gavin,
Gavin.
Tommy Milner, and Marcel Fassler.
Yeah. And, I mean, I think it's fair to say at this point, there's no point in us trying to pick any weaknesses in any of the driver lineups here, because it is GT Le Mans. They're all factory drivers, and let's face it, if we're going to try and find faults with driver lineups, we're probably going to be wasting our time. These guys are some of the best
you'll be
GT
looking
drivers
at
in
very,
the
very
world.
hard.
So, yeah, so we're just going to rattle through the driver lineups probably, and moving on to Rahal Letterman Lanigan, BMW Team RLL.
LL.
Yes, with the RLL, with the 24 car of John Edwards, Martin Tomczyk, who left
Tomczyk.
DTM. Tomczyk. Yes.
Sorry, I
Who
had
left-
to.
Same, yeah, I do apologise. Yes, he left DTM last year to take up GT racing.
Smart move.
Yes, and they will be joined by Nicky Katzberg for this weekend, with the sister car of Bill Auberlen, Alex Sims and Kuno Whitmer. Now, the rumour going around is that Tom Chick might be moved to BMW's World Endurance Championship programme, and that the Canadian former driver for SRT
former
is actually going to
GTLM
move.
champ, yes.
Yes, exactly. In the first season of the Tudor United Sports Car Championship, as it was known back then, will be moving over to the 24 to take the place of the German driver. Next up, we've got the lone Ferrari in the class, the Risi Competizione car of Tony Vilander, Giancarlo Fisichella, and this time Alessandro Pierguidi.
Yes. What more
yes.
you said about that one?
Yeah, exactly. Moving on, we've got Ford Chip Ganassi Racing. The 66 car is Joey Hand, Dirk Mueller, and Sebastian Bourdais.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know he was included.
Excuse me, sorry. Yep, he is in the lineup. And in the 67 car is Ryan Briscoe, Richard Westbrook, and one Mr. Scott Dixon.
Funny how that works, yes.
Yes. And I am seriously hoping I did actually pronounce Dirk Mueller's name correctly.
Mueller.
Close.
Bueller. Meh, difference.
Good enough for Americans.
Good enough.
He can't hear you, so it's fine.
Yeah. Good enough that by my standards. And then finally we come to the two Porsches. The number 911 car of Patrick Pilet and Dirk Werner, joined by Nick Tandy for this weekend. And the 912 car is Lawrence Vantor, Jimmy Bruni and Earl Bamber. And quite frankly, there's no point even discussing any weak links there, because there aren't any.
Not discussing the extra addition of the former Le Mans winners to the 911 and 912.
Well, the guy in the 912 actually won Le Mans this year as well, in fairness.
This is true.
Yes, Earl Bamber. And now we can finally move on to GTD, and it means we get to start
biggest
with...
field.
Yes, the biggest
17
field.
entries.
Yep, and we start with Lexus and Paul Gentilosi's team.
Boo.
Yeah, pretty much. Sage Karam, Robert Alon and Ian James in the 14, Jack Hawksworth, Scott Pruitt and Austin Cindric in the 15.
Funny enough, a little side note on the entry list, the number 15 doesn't even show any sponsors. While the 14 does.
Yeah, that I have noticed that. That is quite interesting.
I wouldn't read too much into that one. It's just they're both supported by factory Lexus money anyway, so.
Yeah. Any potential weak links other than the temperament of a few of the drivers?
Well, I could actually tell you two weak links in the number 14 there. That being the pairing of Sage Karam and Robert Alon. Ian James is no slouch, and he's probably not going to be the one to let down that car. If anything goes wrong with the 14, it'll be between those two.
Of course, Ian James has done a magnificent job in the brand new Panos GT4 car in World Challenge this year. I mean, given that it actually had a proper old school manual gearbox at the opening round at St. Pete, which, let's face it, wasn't exactly ideal.
Well, Ian James is also a former 12 Hours of Sebring winner and a podium finisher at Le Mans, so he's not going to throw a car off if he can help it.
He is definitely the class driver in the 14.
Meanwhile, in the sister Lexus is Jack Hawksworth, Scott Pruitt, and Austin Cindric.
Yes, I seem to recall we mentioned Cindric a few weeks back regarding a global rallycross event.
Well, you'll find
Seattle.
Mr. Cindric is the son of Tim Cindric, who runs Team Penske. So he has tentacles and everything and will drive anything and anywhere that has four wheels on it.
Yeah. The next car on the entry is the 16 Change Racing Lamborghini Huracan of Jeroen Mul, Corey Lewis and Brett Sandberg. course, Merland Lewis won the round at VIR, I believe it was.
Say it?
Jeroen Merlin, Corey Lewis and Brett Sandberger in the 16 Change Racing Lamborghini Huracan.
Yes, the Monster Energy Forza Lamborghini.
Yes, the pairing of Jeroen Merlin, Corey Lewis won at VIR earlier this year, I seem to recall.
Yes, they did. First race win for both Jeroen Merlin, Corey Lewis, and Change Racing.
Yeah.
Actually, something that I've seen for once.
Say that louder, maybe someone might hear you.
I've actually seen that race.
There you go.
I watch IMSA.
He's seen
Never,
the life, he
sometimes.
watches IMSA.
Yes. we're training
Just
him
so
well.
late.
We are training the leader of Toucans well, we are.
Ah, yes.
Yes. And then we come to the Alex Job Racing Audi of Bill Sweedler, Townsend Bell and Frankie Montecalvo.
Yes, underrated driver pairing there. If the Audi has pace this weekend, the 23 will be a dark horse to be on the podium, I think, because Townsend Bell and Frankie Montecalvo are no slouches.
Yes, and Bill Sweedler, I'd say, is probably one of the quickest bronze-graded drivers in GT racing.
Well, he has 2 podium finishes at Le Mans and 1 at Le Mans, so yeah.
I mean, he's certainly up. I'd say, for my money, Bill Sweedler
He's certainly
is
a
up
damn
with
sight better than one Mr. McNeil.
Yes, more on that in a minute or two. Yes, next up we have the Allegra Motorsports Porsche of Daniel Morad, Michael De Quesada and Michael Christensen. I mean...
Oh, you know, just the lineup that won the Rolex 24 this year.
Yes, and for what was only supposed to initially be, I think, just Daytona and Sebring, the fact that it actually went so well that Allegra decided to do the full season, full credit to them. They've done a very good job this year.
Well, it kind of helps that they won for Porsche in their first outing, and then Porsche said, oh, if you want to continue, we'll lend out some factory drivers to help you along.
Yes, with one Mr. Christensen being one of them.
Yes.
Yes. Moving on to the number 29 Monteplast by Land Motorsport entry.
Hey, wait a minute, we just talked about these guys.
Yes, it's on the entry list with Connor De Filippi, the silver graded driver. Christopher Meese and our good and to be confirmed.
Connor De Filippi is silver. That's not right.
Yes. My thoughts exactly. Christopher Meese and to be confirmed's young, slightly older cousin, TBD.
Good old grandfather TBD.
Yes, the veteran driver making a one-off comeback this weekend. Yes. Yes, absolutely no weak links in that driver lineup, and quite frankly, Connor De Filippi and Chris Meese on their own would be probably in with a shout at winning. Let's be honest.
Well, I don't know. TBD seems pretty weak to me.
Yeah, of course we don't actually know who TBD is at the moment, but we probably will, and inevitably after we've actually recorded this, as
yes,
is always the way. Yes.
Any guesses? Maybe we could be right next time.
Chris Harster? Kelvin van der Linde?
Oh, Kelvin van der Linde would be very
God,
good.
just imagine if van der Linde was in driving again for the team he won the Nürburgring 24 in this year.
That's very good. I'm going to say that he might be the guy that's there, but who knows?
Given that he's already got to be in the US for the California 8 Hours at Laguna Seca. So, yeah, just
why on earth did you say it that way?
I have no idea.
Just to annoy you.
Anyway, moving on to the number 33 of Riley Motorsports, Team AMG. Driver lineup is Ben Keating, the championship runner-up position holder Jeroen Bleekmolen, and Mario Farnbacher, or Marino Farnbacher as it's coming up as on the spotter's guide.
It says Mario on here.
Yes.
Probably just a typo then.
The guy that never stops racing, Ron Blancpain.
Yes.
Yes.
You give him something with 4 wheels, he will drive it.
Yes.
Has
He
wheels,
also
will
has
drive.
an outside chance of winning the title.
A
Very
slim
outside chance of winning, yes. But a chance nonetheless.
Yes. And moving on to the 48, the Paul Miller Racing Lamborghini of Brian Sellers, Madison Snow, and one Trent Hindman.
Yes. Now, with him as the additional endurance driver, that car could seriously be a factor in for the race this weekend.
Trent Hindman was mighty impressive when he had to sub for Ben Keating at VIR at short notice because Ben
He got him a
had to
podium.
go back to Texas. Exactly, Trent Hindman got on the podium while Ben had to go back to Texas to be with his family while there was the
Hurricane
terrible
Irma,
hurricane.
yes.
Irma was Florida, I think.
Was it?
I think it was Hurricane
No,
Harvey.
Harvey. Yes, sorry, my bad. They happened
Yeah.
back to back, so I confuse them in my mind sometimes.
Yes. Moving on to the other Riley Motorsports car, the WeatherTech racing car.
Is it a Riley Motorsport car, though, honestly?
Probably not. But either way, it's got Gunnar Jeanette and Patrick Long providing the driving talent, and the son of the WeatherTech owner Cooper McNeil also in the car.
Once again, in their stupid Porsche, because they don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah.
The only reason why I'd even entertain liking them as a favorite is because it has Patrick Long in it.
Yes.
And even then, if they win, I'll be very angry because they've won.
Yes.
I don't like this entry at all.
Neither do I, come to think of it. So, moving on rather quickly to Core Autosport in the 54 Porsche with John Bennett, Colin Brown, and Nick Jonsson, the Swede.
The tireless Swede who seems to never retire.
Yes.
Also, the last race for Core Autosport in their Porsche, as next year they'll be in prototypes with an Orica.
Ooh, that's going to be quite interesting because Colin Brown in a prototype is going to be pretty awesome to watch. Let's be honest.
I wouldn't count out John Bennett either. He's pretty handy in a prototype.
Oh yeah.
He's a good amp,
It
so...
Yeah, it should be quite an interesting year for Core next year. Moving on to Stevenson Motorsports for the last time in IMSA competition, one should point out, for Lawson Aschenbach, Andrew Davis and Matt Bell.
Not the last time in IMSA competition. The last time in full stop auto racing, as Stevenson Motorsports will be shutting their doors at the end of this weekend.
Yes, they've already put a stop to their Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge program, and the reason why they've carried on with the Audi is because they have a contract to honour, which they are doing.
Yes, but all their stuff is up for sale, so if anyone wants a lightly used Audi R8 LMS, give them a call. I'm sure they would
Yes.
entertain an offer.
Yes, especially if
And
you
if
want... Or,
anybody want to give me the money, I'll take it too.
There you
yes.
go.
Yeah.
Christmas coming up.
Lawson Aschenbach, Andrew Davis, and Matt Bell. Not a bad driver lineup.
Not at all. And they also have a cut price Camaro GT4, lightly used, and a damn sight cheaper than what Pratt & Miller will sell you one for, one presumes.
Oh, I was going to say, you're probably the cheapest Camaro you could buy.
Yes, given what was mentioned during last week's episode regarding the pricing of that car. Yes. Anyway, moving on to the 63 Scuderia Corsa car. They're leading the championship by a mile, and quite frankly, all Christina Nilsson and Alessandro Balzan have to do is merely do the minimum drive time to win the title.
And finish the race. And Christina Nilsson and Alessandro Balzan will be defending two-time IMSA GTD champions.
And without a drive for next year.
Yes, which is why I don't like partly the WeatherTech racing car. The
Yes.
two are intertwined with one another.
Yes, one would also
Seemingly.
like to mention that one Mr. Matteo Cressoni is the third driver, and no slouch himself.
No. The Scuderia Corsa Ferrari is also within a shot of winning the Tequila Patron North American Endurance Cup.
Soon to become the Michelin Endurance
Now
Cup in a
that's out of
couple
the
of
way.
years' time. Yes. Moving on to the 73 Park Place Motorsports Porsche of Patrick Lindsay, Jörg Bergmeister, and young Mr. Matt McMurray.
Yeah. Your Bergmeister, what's more to say about a Porsche, really?
Jörg Bergmeister knows Porsches inside out. If he cuts himself, you'd probably just see little Porsche badges coming out.
He cuts himself, he bleeds Porsche red.
Yeah, he does, presumably. Matt McMurray's young, up-and-coming driver, so...
He's a safe pair of hands, so yeah, that could be, at the end of the day, another car to win. The number 75 of Sun Energy One Racing, Mercedes-AMG GT3, has Tristan Vautier, Kenny Habel, and one Mr. Dion van Moltke, who is a very good driver to have in a GT3 car.
Yeah, how somehow still a silver.
Still unemployed, Mr. Dion van Moltke. How? I don't know.
Yes, Dion van Moltke and Tristan Vautier. Yeah, I don't need to say any more. They're going to be on the pace.
As
Pretty
long
much.
as Kenny
If they
Habel can keep it from being in the tires or going off track, the 75 is in with a shot of a podium.
Yeah, pretty much. Moving on to Michael Shank Racing with their Acura NSX GT3s, the 86 driven by Jeff Siegel, Oz Negri Jr. and Tom Dyer, the 93 being driven by Andy Lally, Catherine Legg and Mark Wilkins.
Yes, the last time that they will be in factory Acura cars, the pairings there, because next year the Acura money goes away.
Well,
And Roger Penske gets it.
Yes, goes to Roger
For the
Penske.
prototype program. For
Yes,
the DPI.
But Michael Shank has said that he is looking at continuing the NSX GT3 cars next year. The driver lineups have been yet to be determined because they don't have the money, but it's looking highly likely there'll be two MSR Acuras in GTD next year, which is very good news there.
Indeed. And last but not least, we have the number 96 Turner Motorsports BMW, the only BMW in GTD, I should point out. Justin
It's
Marks,
always
Jens
the only
Klingman.
BMW in GTD.
Fair point, well made, beautifully presented, yes.
Thank
Jens
you.
Klingman and Jesse Crone alongside Justin Marks.
JJJ. Funnily enough.
Oh, it's a
Yes,
J car,
indeed.
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
It's a Justin, Jens, and Jesse car.
The Justin, Jens and Jesse show.
Oh, very good.
Yes. Flawless friendship.
That's pretty good.
There's also the
Flawless
Continental
stunt,
Tires.
flawless for you there. But yeah, that's the entry list for the 20th anniversary Moto Petit Le Mans this weekend.
Yes, and there's actually a bit of Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge news I'd just like to mention quickly regarding Core Motorsports.
Oh, go on. What's the news?
They're running a second Mustang GT4 for Nate Stacey and Parker Chase.
Oh, interesting. A Ginetta driver and a Mustang.
Yes, because Ginetta doesn't race in Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge.
Well, for convoluted reasons that are too complicated and long to go into at the moment.
Yes, and with the words far too being before both complicated and convoluted.
Yes.
In both
But moving
instances. Yes, moving very swiftly on. There was a snippet from Lamborghini North American Motorsport manager Chris Ward, who's proposed the idea of splitting the schedule to see the Florida 36 Hours of Daytona and Sebring spun off into its own championships on the grounds of cost control. And quite frankly, that's all I can really be bothered to say about it, because
yes,
it's not going to happen, and it's a
stupid.
stupid idea. Right,
Yes,
moving on.
you took the words right out of my mouth there.
I do apologise for interrupting you.
Oh, damn. No, it's fine. For once, someone else gets a rant before I can get in.
And going back to Blancpain, there's the news that the Endurance Cup will be limited in the Pro class to just 26 entries next year, which means we might see one or two less WRT Audis. Yes.
I mean, honestly, what is the point of limiting Pro cars? Those are all the lineups. I mean...
It won't be for Spa, though, because Spa's around at the Intercontinental GT Challenge. So Spa's
the
the only
Intercontinental
exception.
GT Championship, or Challenge,
Yeah.
whatever the hell the stupid name is.
Stefan Rattel said, having learned from past experiences of full pro championships in GT1 in the late 90s and again 10 years later, the SRO Motorsports Group wishes to stop increasing the professionalisation of the Blancpain GT series, where the average number of pro cars has gone from 11 in 2011 to 32 this season. There are also plans mooted for a format change to Blancpain Sprint Cup next year, which will see both 60-minute races scoring equal points and featuring their own separate qualifying sessions.
Hang on. Didn't I just suggest this the other week?
I think you might have done, actually, come to think of it, yes.
Hang on. These formats are actually similar to one Pirelli World Challenge, who the
Sprint
SRO
X.
govern already. Yes.
I wonder
So
where they
once
got that
again,
idea
America
from.
coming to save the day of a European Championship.
What is new?
Oh dear.
Oh, dear. Yes, in other sports car racing news, we have some good news on the LMP1 front. Multiple
Good
reasons,
news.
actually. Yes, the first bit of good news is that Collis have completed what the team has held as an
That's not
all-round
good
successful
news.
test.
That's mediocre news.
Well, given the fact, as we all know, it is an old Ades LMP2 chassis, yeah. Ollie Webb and Dominic Kryhammer were tasked with the testing duties, which validated several aerodynamic and mechanical updates to the car.
In other words, all that is technical fancy jargon for saying, we got the car to work finally the way it was supposed to. Now we can actually make it go quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
In other
that's
news,
what that means.
Ginetta have also confirmed the first order of 3 LMP1 cars to an as yet unknown team.
Manor.
Possibly, yes, given the Yorkshire link as well. Manor being a team from Yorkshire, Ginetta being based up in Garforth as well. Yes, the team in question has purchased 2 cars for racing as well as a third car for spares.
As one does, yes.
Yes, one cannot be too careful these days. There's also some other news of note, in that there was some racing at Sepang at the weekend, and the best story was from the Formula 4 Southeast Asia series.
Yes, get to this point, because it's a comical farce of a news story.
Yes.
And one I thought I'd never hear.
Because after a loose drain cover caused Romain Grosjean's accident in Free Practice 1, meant that the first F4 race was cancelled due to track repairs, so they were forced to run back-to-back on Saturday after the FIA managed to get everything re-welded. The first race, everything was A-OK, but in race 2, a number of cars started stopping on track without any fuel in them. And then more cars stopped, and then on the final lap, with dead Formula 4 cars littering the Sepang International Circuit, and with the safety car out on circuit, the race leader, Kane Shepherd, ran out of fuel himself exiting turn 2, which meant the safety car was the only one that actually crossed the line on the final lap. Yes, all 9 starters actually did not finish the race.
I don't know what's
Comical.
more comical there. The fact that they had a race with only 9 cars in it, or the fact that they only had 9 cars and every single one of them ran out of fuel.
Yeah. It was absolutely hilarious to witness. And it was funny enough seeing...
It's quite unsporting, I think. The safety car driver should have at least pulled over and started giving him a tow. I mean, honestly.
I mean...
At least he wouldn't have gotten stuck like the Vicari vehicle in Barcelona.
Even
damn sight more power to get out of the gravel.
yes, even Nayan Chatterjee, one of the drivers in that race, actually got out and tried to push his car Mansell-esque.
See, now that I told you that they should have just pushed
Well,
them
you
all
told me,
to
not
the
Penta.
straight. Oh yes,
Yeah.
that's right. I was telling Rob that they should have just towed all the cars to the front straight, and then the drivers could have proceeded in a push race to the line.
Yes, the world's
That
slowest drag
would've-
race.
Would have been, I don't know.
It would have been the
Perfect.
best finish ever.
Yes.
Yes. Asian Autosport chairman Peter Thompson apologised and said, and I quote, "I apologise unreservedly for the results of race 3. With races 2 and 3 back to back and without the possibility to top up, we filled the cars for both races before the start of race 2. However, we miscalculated the requirements. As we are a one-team championship, all the drivers were unfortunately affected."
We miscalculated how much fuel to put in each car. In other words, we don't know how big the tanks are, and we don't know how to do math.
This did
Oh,
take
dear.
away some of the fact that there was actually some form of a Formula 1 race on, which I only caught the second half of.
Basically, I'll summarize it this, because I'm probably the only one who actually bothered
have?
watching it.
Yes,
Sorry,
you
Josh,
probably
in
were the
advance
only
for
one.
ruining the recap. It basically had drama from the start, as Kimi Räikkönen had engine issues which the Ferrari team were unable to resolve. And you had the mad scramble of them on the grid, giving us a lovely peek into the Ferrari engine on the start grid, to which they walled off with men in red uniforms. They couldn't repair it. They put him in the garage. He was out at the start. He didn't take it to start. Not much drama happened at the start of the race. Daniel Ricciardo got around Valtteri Bottas, so he was third. Hamilton started from the lead. Hamilton started from the lead, and what's his name? Verstappen. Yes, that's the Red Bull.
Max
I'm thinking of.
Verstappen.
Max Verstappen.
Yes, Max Verstappen got around Hamilton and held it from there. The end.
Yes. And then, of
Yes.
course, there was what happened to Vettel after the race, where he and Lance Stroll had a bit of a coming together on track, and Vettel ended up getting a lift back to the pits from Pascal Wehrlein in what was probably the world's fastest Uber taxi.
I'm not quite sure it was that quickly. He was going quite slowly, actually.
Well, yes, that's because he had one of his countrymen clinging onto the air intake.
Yes, fair enough. Well done.
Yes, yes.
One of the most powerful Ubers.
Yes,
Yes.
there you go.
And someone who would definitely get a 5-star Uber driver rating as well, for that matter.
Yes, well done.
Yes. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened in the F1. Pierre Gasly
no
made his
further
debut.
action on that incident, by the way.
Yeah, Pierre Gasly made his debut as well. He's also racing at Suzuka this weekend in place of Daniel Kvyat, and he has also today admitted that he would actually give up a title shot in Super Formula for a chance to race in Formula 1 for the rest of the season, which, given that he's probably going to be replacing Carlos Sainz Jr. at Toro Rosso, yeah.
I don't think it's an if. It's probably a yes. That's kind of obvious.
Yes, in fact, the title decider in Super Formula is at Suzuka. He is only half a point off Hiroaki Ishiura, who I think we might know slightly better from his Super GT exploits in the Zensurumo Lexus.
Oh, speak for yourself. I didn't realize he was in the Zet Lexus until you told me.
Right. Yes, there has been Formula E testing over the last couple of days as well at the Circuito Ricardo Tormo, albeit
boring is all I heard.
Yes, they actually put a chicane on the pit straight, and then they put another chicane on the pit straight overnight.
How sad is your series if you can't even test on the most boring track? You have to put a chicane on it.
Yeah, they should have just stayed at Donington, to be honest. They would have actually got a crowd.
Oh, well, even there's more news about that. Is the fact they're closing it, apparently.
Nevertheless, Sebastian Buemi locked out all the sessions today. Fastest. Second today in the combined classification was Mahindra's Felix Rosenqvist, and third was Sam Bird.
Well done to them then. Yeah, this is after all just testing, so none of this actually matters.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. In other news, the Virgin Australia Supercar Championship will.
Wait. Going back to Formula E, you missed the biggest news item from Formula E. Hello?
Which was.
Hello.
Oh, there he is. No, the launch of the Audi Sports factory team.
Oh yes, my bad. I did forget that. Yes, Audi are now a full factory with. They've kept Lucas de Grassi and Daniel Abt, and they've got one Mr. Alan McNish as the team principal.
Yes, another interesting point to come out of that is the addition of Daniel Abt to being an Audi factory driver.
Yes.
So we might just be seeing Mr. Abt in more GT races.
Yes. Moving on to Australia with the Virgin Australia Supercars Championship, it was announced today that they're actually going to be running under the lights for the first time in 20 years at Sydney Motorsports Park as part of a 16 event schedule.
That's been in the works for the past 2 or 3 weeks.
Yes. In other news, they're going to be awarding points for the first time at Albert Park on the Australian Grand Prix support bill.
Championship round finally.
Yep, and they're also going to be visiting the new Tailem Bend facility in South Australia.
Yes, but that's not the important news. Rob?
No, the Sydney
Damn it, Rob.
300-kilometre race is just going to be one 300-kilometre night race, which is quite interesting.
Also not the important news, Rob.
Of course it isn't, because it's the Bathurst 1000 this weekend.
There you go.
And there are some names who we do actually recognise straight away. We're unable to find an entry list, so if you do know where there is an entry list for the Bathurst 1000,
go
please
seek it
do
out
let
for
us
yourself,
know.
and you'll be smarter than us.
Yes, by all means, do that. You'll be doing yourselves rather a good job indeed, because we have been completely unable to find one. I can't even find what I'm looking for right now, come to think of it. Oh, where is it?
Oh, don't bother, you can't find it.
Oh, don't worry, I found it. Everything is going to be okay. I have found
Everything
it.
is awesome.
Everything is cool when
Stop
you're
it,
part
stop,
of a team.
stop.
Yes, I will stop it now.
Stop.
Yes, the Pertec Endurance Cup is led by Sandown winners Cam Waters and Richie Stanaway from Shell V-Power Racing teams Scott McLaughlin and Alex Premar, with Chaz Moster and Steve Owen in third for Super Cheap Auto Racing. Funnily enough, it's the Ford Falcon that's locked out the top 3 positions there.
Wait, what are you reading?
I'm reading the championship standings in the Pertec
Oh,
Enduro
okay,
Cup.
yes, okay, right.
It's the closest thing we have to an entry list, so...
I still don't understand that, but whatever. Work on your website, guys.
Yes, please. Please, you'll be doing everyone a favour. Garth Tander is in 4th place, Fabian Coulthard 5th. Bathurst 12-hour winner Jamie Whincup is in 6th, one of his co-drivers from Bathurst this year, Craig Lowndes, is in 11th for Team Vortex alongside Steve Richards. You've got the likes of Mark Winterbottom, James Courtney, Jack Perkins, Lee Holdsworth, Will Davidson, Jono Webb, Rick Kelly, Shane Van Gisbergen, Matty Campbell, Michael Caruso, Simona Di Silvestro, Nick Percat, among others. And there are a lot of very good drivers in the series, so it should be a pretty
Yes, anyone who's been
race.
watching this year knows the caliber of drivers that are there. Your pick for the winner this weekend?
Quite frankly, you might as well get a dartboard, throw a couple of darts at the dartboard, and
Just
whichever
pick
number
one.
you
Just
get
name one.
closest. Craig Lowndes and Stephen Richards.
Ooh, interesting. I would say that it's going to be either one of the Team Penske cars.
Ah, that's
Or,
interesting.
excuse me, DJR Team Penske.
Yes, Dick Johnson Racing.
Yes, I gotta respect Dick Johnson Racing there.
I predict a car will win.
Yes, well done.
Thank you.
It will have 4 wheels and a V8 engine.
I will go one further, actually. I will say it's either going to be a Ford, a Holden, or a Nissan. There.
Well done.
Well done, yes. And with that one done, I think it's on the calendars, and we can wrap this episode
No,
up.
it isn't. No, it isn't.
Oh, more news. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, and it is the sad news that Robert Yates has passed away.
Oh, yes, I had neglected to mention this earlier. Yes, he passed yesterday at his home, I believe, surrounded by friends and family, at the age of, hang on, 74. Yes.
Yeah.
So, sad news for that one.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know who he is, he was a NASCAR engine builder and longtime NASCAR team owner until 2007.
Yes, one of the
His
Yates
company,
part of Roush Yates.
yes, Roush Yates engines. His company is still involved in building the NASCAR engines, and I think has a role in the Ford GT program. I think.
Ah, interesting.
Don't quote me on that one. I'm pretty sure they were still involved because they were involved with the DP engines. So I don't know if that continued over to the GT program. But anyway, yes.
I will take your word for it, and if it's wrong, it's your fault.
Well, that's not the first time someone's accused me of doing something wrong. But yeah, sad news for him. Now calendar news.
Oh, blimey.
Petit-
Why is it I
Clement.
say calendars and either one of you are either ready?
I'm getting ready right now.
I'm never ready.
I know. Why do I bother?
I don't know. I'm
You're
just
such a
here for
disappointment.
entertainment.
Oh, good
Dance for me,
grief.
dance.
I can't dance, but fine. Prepare to be
Uh,
disappointed.
Are you ready for this?
Go on.
I am ready.
Petit Le Mans from Road Atlanta, the Bank of America 500 NASCAR race from Charlotte. There's the TCR International Series from Zhejiang. There's
Not a real
Bathurst.
series.
There's Bathurst. There's the Japanese Grand Prix from Suzuka. There's also the Touring Car Endurance Series 12 Hours of Spa-Francorchamps.
Huh?
Who?
That's what it's
Oh,
saying.
that's the Creventic series, isn't it? Yes.
Yes.
Oh, they do racing too. Right.
Oh, that's right. It's Spa this weekend with the touring cars and the prototypes. Yes.
Yes. And
The not so popular.
Moving on. Sorry. Go on.
And it is also Super GT this weekend. It's the overseas round at Buriram in Thailand.
Why is everything on this weekend?
I honestly don't know, to be honest.
Just to annoy you.
Yeah, because it's extremely annoying because Petite Le Mans is going to be on all day pretty much Saturday for me, and then Bathurst will start as Petite is finishing, but then Super GT will be on as Bathurst is on. It's a miserable time.
Boo-hoo.
Yes, you're very kind. I like it too.
First world problems. Too much
it's
racing,
very
not enough
first
time.
world problems.
Oh dear. Yes.
Just to add the events that you missed. Oh shit.
Hello?
Hello?
Sorry, hang on. I was getting my calendar up.
Oh.
Oh, I was going to say, is it me you're looking for?
Yeah.
No. Oh, okay. Whatever.
Oh, thanks for that.
Lionel Richie there. On Thursday is the first of the Porsche Super Cup races, or Porsche Super Cup, Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA races from Road
On a
Atlanta.
Thursday?
Yes, on Thursday.
Yeah, because it's
Weird day.
Petit Le Mans Saturday race.
Yes. Petite Le Mans weekend. The racing starts there from this weekend on the Thursday with IMSA Prototype Challenge, the first race. Also the first race for Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA. Friday is the second IMSA Prototype Challenge race and the second Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge race. Friday is also the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge race there. 2-hour race. Qualifying for the Petite Le Mans. Saturday is, of course, the Petite Le Mans itself, the NASCAR Xfinity race. From Charlotte, the Japanese Grand Prix. Also is the Cup race from Charlotte, the Bank of America 500. I think that covers it, yeah.
I think it does.
So, with that covered, I think we can wrap it up now. Is there anything that you would like to say, Penta?
No, I don't have anything to say.
You sure about
We
that?
can end it right here. Yeah. There's no request or anything for me to say.
Okay.
This is more awkward with people around than just saying it alone.
All right, fair enough. On Penta's embarrassment, we'll end for this week. Thanks for
Yes.
listening.
Ooh.
What is
Yes.
ooh?
Oh, yes, I forgot. There was also the final round of the British Touring Car Championship, and it was like a normal British Touring Car Championship round in that pretty much anything that could happen did happen.
Excellent.
And
Well
well done to
summarized
Ash
there. And with him remembering that last bit of news, we will end. Thanks for listening, guys.
I'm a cop, you idiot.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Drop the gun! Yeah, that's right, drop the gun!
Hey, I'm a police officer. This is an arrest.
This man is crazy. Look at him. He wants to kill me. You're just gonna stand there?
Freeze!
Oh, jeez.
I'm a cop, you idiot.
I'm Detective John Kimble.